What's up, everybody? You're watching Breaking the Wall. I'm Steve Paul. Let's get into it. Just recently, a clip of Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister from Canada, has surfaced. The Prime Minister talking about Tronald Dump being serious about annexing Canada. He says that Tronald Dump wants to absorb Canada. And so what does that mean? We'll get into it a little bit, but first, I'll play a little clip.
That it had to do with what was originally portrayed as a bit of a joke on Donald Trump's part, this 51st state stuff that he kept leaning into and talking about. But it suggested that actually this is serious now, that in the minds of Justin Trudeau and his cabinet and key decision makers, they no longer believe that this annexation stuff is a joke in the mind of Donald Trump. It has to do with the way he sees things like the critical minerals trade. That sort of, if the U.S. perceives it needs resources that Canada has, rather than seeing them used as leverage against it in a negotiation, or rather than having to kind of work with, pay fairly, and negotiate for access to Canada's resources. In Donald Trump's mind, easier just to take the imperialist approach, the sort of the manifest destiny theory back on again here, and sort of take Canada over. Similar to, comments we've heard him make about Greenland, for example, which also has critical minerals. We have tried to sort of isolate and boost the audio so it's a little bit easier to hear, but we do have a short snippet of what our equipment was able to capture that Trudeau said next.
Mr. Trump has it in mind that one of the easiest ways of doing that is absorbing our country. And it is a real thing. In my conversation with him,
okay, and then it cuts out. But
we got to take stuff like that serious, okay? Trump may sound like he's joking or say oddball things and people don't take him serious, but the man truly does want to absorb Canada. What does he really want over there? Most likely the resources. We have 3.9 million barrels of oil that come into this country from Canada. They have a majority of our lumber production. There are a lot of resources that come in from Canada. And what Trump wants to do is actually create an economic disaster for them. Trump has been threatening them with tariffs, right? He wants to start a trade war. That would be disastrous for both United States citizens and Canadian citizens. Nobody wants that. Another thing that Tronald Dump has been threatening Canada with is he wants them to be the United States' 51st state. Now, if you ask me, the guy's a moron. He's a buffoon, okay? Canada's not going to be our 51st state. They are a free country. For Tronald Dump to think he can just make them part of the United States and just absorb them or force them into it is absolutely absurd. But that's what Tronald Dump's going to do. He is going to go full force. Actually, I have a clip here for you from Tronald Dump saying that he is going to put economic force.
And I don't care what he says.
But Sir, real fast, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force.
The man wants to take Canada for its resources. Now, let's talk about Mexico, right? He's threatening tariffs against Mexico, trade war with Mexico, same thing. It's not going to be good for United States citizens or Mexican citizens. Nobody wants a trade war. This just increases costs for everybody, and it's no good. But what is he doing there? I truly believe that he wants Mexico for their resources as well. And it's kind of funny because he put tariffs on Mexico, right? And then Mexico said, we'll give you 10,000 troops. And he said, okay, yeah, I'll take that. Your tariffs are removed. But that plan was already in motion. That plan was set to and agreed by the Biden administration. So for him to think that that was a victory, I mean, hey, MAGA does what MAGA does, right? Am I right? All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the Gaza Strip. Just recently, Tronald Dump said that he is going to take the Gaza Strip. He wants to force the Palestinians out and completely clear Gaza. It will be U.S. owned. This is not a joke, people. Tronald Dump actually said these things. Here, check this out.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it.
Tronald Dump is not joking when he says he wants to make Gaza part of the United States. It's funny because there are people that hear that and say, are you serious? The guy's serious. He's a clown. I don't know who Tronald Dump thinks he is, where he can just dictate who's going to go where. It's not going to happen. The rest of the world thinks he's a joke. As a matter of fact, the rest of the world thinks that the United States is getting weaker by the day. He is dismantling us from within, our own government. He's literally trying to dismantle our FBI, our CIA, the FAA, the Department of Education. They're throwing up OSHA now. You heard that, OSHA. That is what protects us. That's what gives us safe work environments. And he wants to go after OSHA. I have to take a breather sometimes. I just can't believe it's serious. But it's dead serious. They are trying to pick apart our government from within, and he's destroying us from the outside as well. Canada was one of our best and closest allies. Mexico was an ally. Greenland was an ally. Let's talk about Greenland. He's threatening to take Greenland. It's not a joke, people. He really wants to take Greenland, and Denmark said they won't have it. Now, if you look, the rest of the world is looking at us like the United States is full of clowns. No, I promise you, people, listen, we're not. Most of us are sane. Most of us don't agree with Tronald Dump and what he's doing. Most of us agree that you're our allies, and we want to keep it that way. So we are truly sorry for the menace that this man is and for the chaos that he is creating. So if we think about it, Tronald Dump has single-handedly, in 3 weeks, ruined the relationship we had with our closest allies, Canada, Mexico, Greenland. He's threatened to take over Gaza, which Jordan is not having it because they're not going to allow us to just push Palestinians over there. They're not having it. Trump is in for a rude awakening. Not to mention, he's dismantling our own government from within. If you add all this up and you put it all together, you know what you have? You have a dictator. A wannabe dictator anyways, because that's what Tronald Dump is. He's a wannabe dictator. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one.